But I would rather invite our scientific community to really become or establish that as a part of ourselves, not as the outsourcing that there's some company that does take your publication journal, a 5-minute video, that's fine. But I think if the scientists themselves would have that perspective from day one, that I'm interested in studying this. And the next question will be, if I discovered that, and if I tell about my discovery to the society, would they appreciate that? Would that bring any sense, meaning, and value to them? I think there could be like a free of where our scientific effort goes, because aspects of our society and industries have been outdated. Peer review process, the journals and everything, and even including education. I sometimes, as I said, I sometimes say things that are kind of controversial, but I believe if we are not honest to ourselves and we just go with inertia and without acknowledging where exactly are these things that are for them. So for example, if we speak about education, as long as industry will be based on requiring standard graduation diplomas, there will be universities that produce standard educational diplomas, and there would be no kind of big need for them to rearrange themselves. At the same time, students can learn anything and go and do their things without diplomas. So it's kind of a transformative times, but it transforms gradually and slowly because of the education itself, but because the rest of the society, the industry is still based and driven by that old paradigm. Okay, you need to have this diploma to convince us.
So hopefully I asked this question right, but like, are scientists around the world looked at equally? For example, suppose a scientist in France does a paper on XYZ. You say Bolivia does basically the same paper XYZ. Do people think, okay, this guy from France has to know more because he's from France versus the guy from Bolivia? Or like, are scientists, as long as the skills and degrees are about the same, looked upon equally?
Science should very equal playground. Science, by definition, is we are exploring us and our relationship with the world and the world. And I always, when somebody raises a kind of a big question about science, I remember there's science communicators. One of them is Neil deGrasse Tyson. Many people have heard or seen him, and he is funny and great and knowledgeable. And one thing I think he, and also some of his colleagues from the cosmology and astrophysics, sometimes when they are happening to give a talk at the convention, which is connected to religion, and there are many scientists that are religious as well. But the one story that really I think just makes sense is that if anything happens on the planet and all the books are gone, destroyed, anything left. So scientific books will come back as they were. Sooner or later. We'll recreate all the laws of physics, all the understanding of the gravity, speed of light, everything. But all the other stories in the other books will be different. And I think that's why if you look at the science, and if the science is done properly, we are just pushing the boundary of understanding who we are and how we live and what's around us. And the better we understand us and things and interaction, the better we can design the next product, services, and societies.
What do you think is going to be out in the future? What future tech's out there you think that we haven't even thought about, right? Some time travel, like what's the thing on Star Trek? You like beam people back and forth on the holodeck, right? Like what's some kind of far out technology you think might be coming up or that you want?
I see the pathway or the evolution in such a way between humans and technology. Let's look at the simpler, older computers. They didn't have touch screen. So we had to use more like a remote devices to interact. But now we have all technology crawls closer to us. Even proximity gets as close as we can have something in our glasses. We can have the air ability to interact with our fingers, and we even have the possibility now to have the chips in our body somewhere in different ways. So I see that we get closer and closer. Proximity between humans and technology gets smaller and smaller. I think it's inevitable. It's going to get to the point when we will fuse to some degree. We will get very strong connections in some areas that we accept as being ethical or being helpful, where we are very integrated with technology. How exactly, I don't know, but generally we are going that direction. And I'm not afraid of that, because what is artificial intelligence is a technologically strong agent that initially has looked at the intelligence that people have created to make more sense. Over time, that agent not only is able to look at what people have created, but also what people create on a daily basis. Just observe how they use some technology, look at their behavioral footprints into their log files, and create more understanding. And they look at all of the cat pictures, and then they can develop the computer vision. So it's already the example, it's an expansion of our intelligence where humans and technology co-create and expand or united intelligence. So therefore, how do we live in that united intelligence? How much is, or how I am not able to tell at the moment, but I think it will be just getting more what we want to achieve with this. And this is also an important moment when people are asked this question: what do you want to achieve with this? What do you want to achieve with this artificial intelligence? Oh, I just want it to be very smart. Why? What exactly? Why do you need this? So I think, yeah, most of the times I would say, let's continue build powerful technologies, but with an understanding